Well, update on the Super Bee. As you can see, a lot of things are different. So, as you can see, the 440 is installed. The transmission is installed. You can see that. Um, Quick update on everything that's kind of happened in the past. All happened in the past 3 days. Um, I got the 440 lifted with the engine hoist cherry picker here. Got it over to the transmission, bolted the transmission to the engine just with the bell housing bolts, and then we picked it up and just used a chain. We didn't need any fancy leveling thing, any fancy kit. I know that definitely helps a lot of people, but this turned out pretty easy the way it ended up going in. I'm actually very happy with how it went. I didn't do all of this myself. I'm not going to take credit for that by any means. But I myself got the engine up and put it at least mostly into place. Wasn't fully dropped on the mounts, but it was a couple minutes away from being dropped on the mounts. I did that just myself. Just rolled the car forward. So that turned out good. The oil pan clears everything. I knew it would, just from other people's experience and just the way that it's made. It's a Mylodon 7 quart, and that fit the factory K member and everything perfectly fine. So after that, we got the transmission jacked up. I put a piece of wood across the pan and jacked it up that way. I know that's not 100% the best way to do it, but it turned out fine for me. And I put the cross member in place, and I was going to put the transmission mount in, and I did get it in. I got it through, and I started the little nut that holds it to the transmission cross member, and it stripped. So I ended up getting a new one of those that's on its way. Bigfoots and Mopars was over here helping me out a little bit. He actually ordered one for me, so he's actually just got that the other day. He's got Amazon and I don't, and that was a pretty quick way of getting it, so we went ahead and did that. He's definitely helped out with a few things related to this, so very thankful for that. And my dad has helped me out a lot with this stuff too. He's done this particular thing a few times. I have not. I've not done a 440 with headers in this style of engine bay. The only other one I did was in a 73 Charger. I put a 440 and automatic in with manifolds, so that's a little bit different. Those inner fenders and engine bay style on a 73 Charger compared to this is way better. Way better. So anyways, enough about that. But the headers, they actually fit pretty good. They are clear of the steering box. It looks like it's touching there, but it's not, and the collector's not attached to anything, so that needs to probably be moved over. And they're not 100% tight. They're good. Good tight for now. I used Felpro 1414. It's for the gasket. It's a steel fiber gasket, I think is what they called it. I should look at the packaging again. But I use copper coat on both sides, just help it out a little bit. And these are Hedman 1 7/8 tube headers, and they fit pretty good. I put them in before the engine was dropped down, and I had to put the starter in at the same time. This is a full-size, normal Mopar starter. It's not a mini starter. Would consider swapping to a mini starter in the future, but this one I tested. It works good, so I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Transmission lines. Transmission lines were a little bit of a pain. Quick little trick that'll help anybody trying to get transmission lines in with the engine in. There's usually 2 of these little C-clips that hold the lines together. If you take those off, see there's 2 of them there. If you take those off, you could put each line in individually, and then they're not stuck together and making such a large profile to try to squeeze through different tight spaces. So I'm going to put those clips back on so they don't rattle, but definitely a little tip for that. Try and think anything else notable. Crank pulley, that's just sitting there. It's not even bolted on. I just painted that. It's a 2-groove. I need to figure out what I'm running for a fan pulley. Make sure I get the spacing right so it's not all screwy. Need to figure out what fan I'm running too. I have a 7-blade clutch fan, so might end up doing something with that. We'll see. I have brand new wiring for the car. Let's see, let's look at it here. Brand new 68, 69 B-body, big block, electronic ignition style wiring. Got a yellow super coil. This is an interesting little piece here. So this piece, let me turn it around here, is not supposed to be bent like this. It's supposed to be straight, and it goes through the floor right there, and then there's a little clamp that holds it up there and a little pin, and that's this part. So when they took the original transmission, or at least the transmission that used to be in it, I would imagine, they probably didn't connect this and just yanked it out and bent it in the process. Luckily I had another, cleaned it up on the wire wheel, put it in place, and we're done with that. Speaking of which, that little shaft goes into a little pivot piece that needs to still go in place. I actually just painted that. It's on kind of the other side of the yard, or else I'd show it to you. Just painted that black as well. That's got the nuts and it goes through the transmission. And it just holds that bottom pivot point in place so it's not super sloppy. And it's got the little plastic bushing that always goes bad. I found a good original, so definitely gonna help to find one that the bushing isn't all destroyed. Then you have a bunch of slop in your linkage. And I've been told, I don't know this for a fact just because I don't have a ton of experience with them, if I'm being honest. I've been told that when it comes to Mopar 727 transmissions, they're really, really good, and they're really great as far as they're considered one of the best transmissions for an automatic. But I've been told if they're out of adjustment and if the shift points are not set properly, that they really can have problems. So it's nice to have good parts when it comes to having the linkage as good as possible. So, but anyways, trying to think of what else there is. I've got an electronic ignition orange Mopar box. I'm gonna order a new master cylinder because this one I actually found out I put some fluid in it and was pumping on it. It actually builds up pressure and actually bled some of the lines a little bit. I haven't pulled any of the bleeder screws or anything. It's just gravity bled. But it actually has a little bit of a pedal to it and actually holds a little bit of pressure. So that's good. It's good to know that the lines aren't leaking at all. I'll try to keep the original lines intact if possible. But it'd be nice to get a new master cylinder anyways, because it'll look better and it will function and not leak. This one leaks. You can see the whole body is kind of wet in the back. It's wet there. And I need to do that before I put the dash in. Quick information on the dash. I got paint matched. I need to go pick it up. It looks a little, it's supposed to be B7 blue interior, for anybody wondering. B7 blue interior, B7 blue dash paint. It's got a little bit more green in it than I thought it did, but I gave them a sample. I gave him the little map light block off plate with the original paint still on it, and he matched it perfectly. So if it's somehow a little bit off, well, it's off of an original sample, so that's as best as I can get. So, but anyways, things left to do. I need to figure out what I'm doing for a radiator. I need radiator hoses. I need figure out my fan and pulley situation. Carburetor, I have an 850 double pumper that I have a rebuild kit for. I should rebuild it. Might try to run it just temporarily for now to get it fired up. Got a really cool air cleaner for it. I can show you that stuff here. And brand new starter relay and neutral safety switch. So that's nice stuff to have. Is a 440 N96 air cleaner, so that will probably go on the car for a short period of time at least. But it's tall enough that with that on and with the carburetor and everything, there's no way that this thing is going to have a hood on it if that air cleaner's on it. So we're going to have to look at a couple of options. I have two, I've got two plain cornet hoods that I could cut holes in. Otherwise, put scoops on or whatever you guys think. Definitely let me know. If the engine bay was nicer, I'd feel better about running no hood, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's starting to rain. Trying to think, there's not a whole lot of other things going on. I'm going to be running pretty much all new spark plug wires. I picked up some more spark plugs. I'm probably going to swap a few and definitely just take a look at them, see how they look after. The dyno time is the only... That was dramatic. The dyno time is the only time that's actually on this, so we'll see how it looks after running just that period of time. But anyways, it's raining. I got to get this engine covered up, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.